Hi, my name is Tarnesia, and today I'll be giving a narrative speech on how the Navy changed my life. I was a country girl from Camden, Arkansas. I went to college at the University of Pine Bluff of Arkansas, UAPB for short. I had been attending college for about 2 years, but I wasn't doing anything with it. I was goofing off, hanging out, partying, and doing all kinds of stuff that I should not have been doing. One day I was looking at TV and I noticed that there was a commercial on about the Navy. And I said, that looked like something that I can do. Navy is an adventure. I said, well, I think I can do that. Well, I went down to the recruiter office and I signed up. Just point blank signed up. The recruiter at that time told me to be a little wait. I had about 2 or 3 months. After those 3 months were up, he came and got me and he took me to Little Rock, Arkansas. From Little Rock, I flew out of Little Rock Airport to Orlando, Florida. From Orlando, Florida, beautiful. We landed. It was kind of cold because it was in November. And I was saying to myself, this is Florida. They loaded us into a white van. When I say they, I mean the military guys that were there to pick us up. They loaded us into a white van. We drove to the base. Once we got to the gate, there were 2 armed guards. The guards came on board the van. They looked around. They left back off. They drove us to a building. We got out of the van, went into the building. Once inside the building, there were about 20 or 30 people there in their uniforms. And there was a lot of other females there. We all sat down. We filled out paperwork. Now it's time to do a urinalysis. The Navy has a zero tolerance for drugs. So now they're going to weed out who's did drugs before they even got to boot camp. Those that didn't will move on. After we did the urinalysis, we went to an area where they handed us a gray blanket, 2 white sheets, and a pillow. Now they will take us to our barracks, which is our sleeping quarters. We got into the barracks. We were told to find somewhere to lay down on a bunk. There were many bunks. We found an empty one. You just throw your sheets down. They'll teach you how to make your rack later. A rack is another word for a bed. About 0400, because now we speak in military time, which is 4 a.m. A male and a female entered the barracks. They opened the door, they threw a trash can, boom, everybody get up. So everybody startled. Now it's time for our discipline. They didn't make us do push-ups or sit-ups or none of that. Our first lesson was reveille, which means good morning, time to get up. Was at 5. But we don't say 5 a.m., 0500. Breakfast is at 0600. Lunch is at 1100. Dinner is at 1600. After 1600, there was no more eating. There was no more snacking. You train in between. You learn how to march. You learn how to do all kind of fancy marching and running and all kind of stuff, just to get you in shape for the fleet. Because remember, basic training is a foundation. Once you have the foundation, you build and you build and you build. Boot camp taught me responsibility and discipline, and it made me ambitious. From boot camp, after you graduate, some people had a guaranteed A school, some people didn't. I didn't have a guaranteed A school. I went to apprenticeship training. Upon the completion of apprenticeship training, I went to my first command, which was the USS Shenandoah. Now I'm going to build. In between that, I was sent home for 30 days on leave because there's no telling when I would be able to see my family again. After that, I went back to the Shenandoah. I learned my trade. My trade was engineman. I was an engineman, ENFR, engineman, fireman, recruit. After that, I made EN3, engineman 3rd class petty officer. I left the Shenandoah and moved to my next command. In my next command, I picked up second class, and after that, I decided I didn't want to be an engineman anymore. So I decided to cross over to Master at Arms, military policeman. I crossed over to Master at Arms. I went to San Antonio, Texas for training, went to the USS Kearsarge. Up on the USS Kearsarge, I became a first class petty officer. Left the USS Kearsarge and went to Naval Weapons Station, Yorktown, where I became a chief petty officer. So now I'm in charge of many people. I was an admin chief, patrol chief, legal chief. I was self taught. In conclusion, with the Navy taught me ambition, they taught me responsibility, they taught me leadership. I rose from an E1 to an E7 with the help of my chain of command and with the help of the troops that I trained. No one can ever say they did it on their own. If you do, you're selfish. It's always the troops, always number one. I can say I'm proud that I gave the Navy honor, courage, and commitment. And as you can see by my shower box, this concludes my speech on how the Navy changed my life. Thank you.